I've only been doing this podcast for 2 years, and I have done a wrapped in the 2 years that I've been doing it. This will be the third one. And I am actually really excited that I've come this far. I am thankful to all my listeners that listen to me every week, and you are who I do it for. Well, I also do it for myself because I just like talking about dramas, but I do it for you as well. And so I'm always grateful to you guys that listen to my podcast weekly because honestly, it's fun for me. So I hope it's fun for you as well. 2025 has been an interesting year. I think that compared to how I started watching dramas back in 2013 versus now where I am at, I have come a long way in the kinds of dramas that I watch. And part of that is because at some point when you watch as much dramas as I have, you start to like develop your own taste for what you like, and you rarely veer off that, right? I will say that the last 2 years I have veered into new categories. I have started watching dramas I didn't watch before, like BL dramas, like Thai dramas, and for the first time my top rated drama of the whole year is a Thai BL drama, and I'll come back to that. And you might already know what drama I'm talking about, but we'll get to that. 2025 has been interesting so far because I think this year I watched mostly Thai dramas. I will say that a huge portion of what I watched were Thai BL dramas. And I will also say that I watched less Korean dramas. And that is new because I generally watch a lot of Korean dramas. But I'll say that this year I watched more Thai dramas and more Chinese dramas. And I think that's just because there is a huge influx of those dramas than Korean dramas, and that is why. And so because of that, in this my final wrapped 2025, there's actually only a few Korean dramas in here. I think maybe only two, and the rest are from other countries. So I feel like my tastes have changed, or should I say, Korean dramas that came out this year were just not my vibe, and so I ended up watching less of those. That will change, I think, in 2026 because I think that a lot of dramas that I am anticipating is going to air in 2026. So I am looking forward to that. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce my 2025 drama wrap. To start off the list, the first award we have is called the Pioneer, the Cultural Moment Award. So, this is a drama that basically represents something big for me. It represents something big for the drama industry or the drama world, I should say. And it was just a moment in time that you had to be there, right? When they say you had to be there, that's just what this means, right? And so this is a drama that is a pioneer. It's the first in its field, I would say, in its genre. And so it was a very interesting moment for me to go through this drama. And this award I would like to give it to ABO Desire. For those who don't know, ABO Desire is this Omega verse drama that came out a few months back. I think what makes it interesting is that first of all, it's a BL drama. Second of all, it's an Omega verse drama. And so if you know what that means, you will know that this drama is actually the first of its kind, right? An Omega verse drama live action, is something that we've actually never really had. I mean, people talk about Pit Babe, which is this type BL that uses some of the element, but when it comes to the actual concept of Omega verse, like the name suggests, where there is omegas that can get pregnant and that kind of thing, this is the first drama that we have. And I think it was just interesting for me to experience this and experience people experience this drama, and so it gets this award because I'm just glad it exists. So moving on, the next drama I want to introduce is titled Best Picture, the This Is How You Build a World drama. And I want to give this award to Kemjira. And I think I am giving Kemjira this award because, let's be honest, that was a fantastic Thai BL drama, right? Like, it was such a good drama because it introduced me to lore, to culture, to tradition of Thailand in a way that I've never seen it before, right? It brought in that element of horror, it brought in that element of fantasy, and I ended up experiencing how this world exists, right, in Thailand. And I think it was just very interesting, right? I think that it was well done. It took them over a year plus to get this release, and I think it was worth the wait because the story was well written, and the picture, like the actual elements in this, right, from the costumes to the graphics, was just well done. I remember watching episode 1, and at the end, when the villagers band together to protect the house for Kem, right? That moment where it finally reveals the villain of the story, right? That was a moment that sent chills down my arm. Like, it was just that good. So I think that this deserves it because it introduced me to something that I had no real knowledge about, and I think that it did a really good job of doing that. So yeah, that is Best Picture. Now, the next award I want to give out is the biggest letdown, the I expected more drama. I thought really hard about making this category because it's not really like a good thing. It's not a positive award, but I felt like I had to give this award because this drama really let me down, and it deserves that award for putting me through what it did. And so the drama I'm giving this award to is Resident Playbook. This was a Korean drama I watched this year, and I think that I was so excited for it, mainly because I was a huge fan of Hospital Playlist, right? I really like that series, and I expected a lot more from the writer of that coming into this, right? And so when I watched this and I got one of the most flatly written female lead, I was just so disappointed. Like, and I think the reason why it annoyed me that she was so flat was because the biggest strength of Hospital Playlist was the altruistic characters, right? You had characters that had empathy, that had goodness in their heart, that believed in what they were doing. Whereas I think that in a Resident Playbook, you don't get that, and I think it was really jarring for me. Not so much that she wasn't as excited for like the field of medicine or anything, but because she remained that way throughout, right? So there was never a moment where she like had a switch, right? She is consistently, from the very beginning of drama to the end, someone who refuses to grow. She ends the drama still not caring about medicine, right? And so I could never really understand her story. I could never understand her character, and there was no real growth, right, to her, right? I would have understood if she started off as uninterested but grew to like the field. But throughout the drama, she just remained the way she was. And it annoyed me more because all the characters gave her a pass. All the professors gave her a pass, right? The idea was, I don't even know what the idea behind that was, because it wasn't that she was also like a really, really good resident either. She was lazy and just annoying, right? So I think that this drama was my biggest letdown. I really expected a lot more from this. And so yeah, it gets that award because of that. Now, moving on. The next award I want to give out is titled Best Action, the Give Me More Overpowered Male Leads Award. This award I would like to give to Guardians of the Dafang. This was a Chinese drama I watched earlier this year. In fact, I think it came out in 2024, but because of how long he went on, he ended up going into 2025, right? It's dramas basically with this male lead that is very, very smart and just outsmarts everyone. So it's basically an overpowered male lead. But obviously, if the male lead is too overpowered, it's annoying. But I think that annoyance for me only comes out in books. Like, I don't mind it when I'm watching it on screen and I'm seeing like the male lead just face slap everybody and just like come out on top. I don't mind it in like dramas. It's in books that it's annoying. So I think that I just like dramas like this where you have an awesome male lead that has a lot of action, but he's also kind, and so he's just running around doing things, but like, don't take it for granted because he will come out on top, right? So, Joy of Life is another Chinese drama that reminds me of this. Snow Sword Stride is another drama like this. Not necessarily overpowered, but just that are smart, right? It's dramas where the male lead is like incredibly brilliant, or has just something that makes them special, right? In Guardians of the Dafeng, right, you have a male lead that like, goes through different levels very quickly, and that's just what he's able to do, and he's able to like charm his way, and he's nice, and people love him and everything, and I just like watching that, right? There's something about seeing a male lead that has charm, and I think that's it. He has charm, and he just draws in people and just lives his life like hee hee ha ha in everywhere, right? And I think I just like that. And so, that's why I kind of want more of these kinds of like male centric dramas that I just has characters like this that I just, go around being the best. Right. Another drama that reminds me of this is Evernight, which is another Chinese drama as well. I guess Chinese dramas just do this more. Because I will say I don't know that many Korean dramas, Thai dramas, Taiwanese, or any like drama from any other country that does this kind of thing, because it's a very like fantasy kind of trope, because a lot of the time it relies on the male lead having like sword skills and stuff like that. So it's something that like you would only see in like wuxia or xianxia or that kind of drama, right? So it's, I guess, has to be Chinese maybe. um Although there's a drama I'm going to talk about next that has some of this quality, and I think it's just that charm that the male lead has that I like watching. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a character that is like swinging swords around or anything. It just has to be a charming male lead that makes it very interesting to watch, right? I can't wait for season 2. Up next is best character, the Heart of the People award. And I want to give this award to my youth. This is a Korean drama that I actually haven't covered yet, right? I've covered most of the other dramas on this podcast, but this is one that I haven't covered yet, and I might get to it at some point. But My Youth is a Korean drama that aired this year as well, and I think I like it primarily because of the same reason I like Guardians of the Dafeng. It has a male protagonist that has an effect on people. Right. So you have the male lead, right? That his character is just interesting because obviously he's a good person. Like you can almost see the goodness in him, and it almost affects everybody around him. And that was like the part that was touching for me. Right. The premise of the show basically goes that, there is our protagonist that, is abandoned by his dad. His mom dies and he has to take care of himself. At some point, he also like unwittingly begins to like foster this girl as well, that his dad lives with him. And so this whole thing, right? It's a romance, obviously, but there's that aspect of like family and relationships and how the male lead or the male protagonist like navigates that, right? I don't really care for the romance in this drama. That's not why I am rating this drama high. And that's not why I'm giving it this award. It's really that character of that male lead that makes this drama interesting. Adding to the fact that this drama has no villain, partly because anyone that seems like they might come off as a villain ends up not being a villain. And I think the part that really made me like this drama is seeing how the male lead interact with his dad's new family, right? So his dad gets remarried, right, to childhood love, right? And the woman, has a son, right? How the male lead is able to somehow turn this his stepbrother, right? And this is a stepbrother that he doesn't really care for, but I think the stepbrother can just see his goodness and turn that person that was initially hostile into like his actual brother, like his actual family that was crying when he finally heard like some bad news about the male lead, right? Like to have a character go from being that aggressive and cautious, right? And just like disgusted by you to becoming like your best buddy and basically a brother to you is just interesting to me, right? And it's funny because you have his stepbrother that loves him, I think, more than anyone, and is always fishing for affection from the male protagonist, and it's just interesting to watch. But even other than the brother, you also have the stepbrother's mom, right? Who is our male protagonist, like stepmom, basically, right? Our character is also interesting because you can see her, or it's because of her I can see that the male lead has some special power, some special magic, because the way she is like reluctant to like the male lead is just interesting to watch, right? Like she recognizes him as a good spirit and it pisses her off that like she can't hate him, right? And so there are moments where like you would think that she's about to do something mean or anything, and just because of how I think the male lead comes off across and reacts to things, you can't really do that, right? And it's just interesting to see how those two characters really interact in relation to the male lead, right? But yeah, honestly, for me, I think it's that relationship and really the relationship between the male protagonist and his stepbrother that makes this drama for me. So I honestly, I could have given this drama like best romance or something, and it would have worked too, because I just like that relationship, and I also really liked the character of the stepbrother, right? I think his character is also interesting. The way he also just exists as a person, that it gives you an interesting synergy with the like male protagonist, right? And I think that they are just so like they are just so cute, right? And I just loved seeing them be brothers, even though I think that the male protagonist doesn't necessarily see the stepbrother as his actual brother, but I think for the stepbrother, he sees him like that, and he loves him very very much, and I just love, when people are reluctant to like give their heart to people, or like they don't expect that that's what's gonna happen, and you have characters that just suddenly are like really like taken by someone, and not necessarily in like a romantic sense, and that's kind of what happens here, and it's beautiful to see. I wish we had gotten more of their life as they grew up, because there was a time skip. The first time you see like the stepbrother and the male protagonist like interact, it's very like confrontational and everything, and by the time you fast forward to like present day, they are already like best buddies, and the stepbrother loves loves him, and tutors his little sister and everything, and you kind of miss that whole like part of how they became what they became, and I think that I would have loved to see all of that. But yeah, that is best character for me. Now moving on, the next award is titled the Comfort Drama Award. This award I want to give to Yummy Yummy Yummy. So I am a huge fan of Lee Yoon, right? He is the male lead in Blossom. Blossom is easily one of my favorite Chinese dramas to ever like exist, right? And I really liked his performance, and that was what made me a fan. And so when this came out, I was really interested to watch it, right? And I have to say, I'm glad I did, because this drama is just like a warm blanket. It's a really feel good drama. It's found family, and as you watch scenes, are just like, I would like to be part of this family, right? That's the vibe you get. And I just love how the characters kind of just took the male lead, the Yunri's character, under like their wing. Not necessarily because that's what they were trying to do, or because, they thought he was their ancestor. So they just counted him as one of theirs anyways. But from the Millie's perspective, right, these are just people that came into his life and just like showered him with affection. I was just there every day, boisterous, noisy, but just loving, right? And I think the Millie needed that, given that he lost his family and everything, and he was really just existing for revenge, right? And so I just loved how this drama showed us an example of the Millie just being cared for, right? So moments where he was down, the moments where he was sick or something, they were always there, right? Just one of them will pop out and soon all of them are there, and it was just beautiful to watch. Obviously this drama, and this is a spoiler if you've not seen it, wasn't the best in terms of ending. I think that I actually cancelled everything I just said, because at the end he basically leaves alone when she I guess returns back to like the present timeline, right? God damn it, censorship, right? um but yeah, still I think that up until the last episode, and so you guys just up until the last episode was good, so just skip that last episode and just end in the episode before, right? I do that for some dramas, and this is one of the ones you should do that for. But yeah, regardless, this was just a lovely drama to watch in its run for me. So yeah, there goes that award. Now, moving on to the last two awards of 2025. The first one I want to talk about is Best Romance, the Every Look Meant Something Award. This award I'm giving to Sniper Butterfly. This is a Chinese drama that I just finished watching like a month or two ago, and it was just like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was just the most chemistry I've seen in like a long time, right? And so I had to give them Best Romance. I haven't covered this drama in detail, and I might still, but honestly, regardless of whether I cover it or not, I think that if you've not seen this drama, you need to go check it out, because when I talk about longing, when I talk about yearning, when I talk about a man that begs, oh my God, the male lead in this is a beggar. Basically, he is a beggar. He begs. He's pathetic. Like, it's so pathetic, but it's so good. Oh my God, it's so good. Like, just watch the first three episodes and you're going to see one of the best kiss scenes you've never seen, like, in a long time. I mean, like, just like so good because, like, these two have such an eye difference that it makes this, like, I don't know, it just brings the chemistry, right? And it's interesting because the plot of this basically goes that the female lead kind of takes in the male lead, helps him study because, he comes from the village and, there they don't really value education, right? And so, despite the fact that she's like tiny and everything, this man hangs on her every word. I mean, on her every word. And it's just like, wow. Like, I don't know how to explain it. To see how much someone can, like, control someone else in, like, obviously the best way possible, is just like amazing. And I have to say, I think part of what makes this drama interesting, and I really thought really hard about whether I wanted to cover this, because there is some age difference between them that makes this, like, odd, right? And so I really struggled on whether I wanted to cover this, and I'm still not sure if I want to, like, do a full review of this. But I think one of the things that makes this drama interesting is because I think for the first time you actually see a female lead that considers the age of the male lead, right? Like, she thinks this true when, she first, like, learns that the male lead, like, loves her and everything, right? The fact that there's that age gap, the fact that she's the one kind of sponsoring him for some things, all, like, affects her decisions and affects how she, like, navigates their relationship, even to the detriment of the relationship, right? Because I think that's just something that's always at the back of our mind, and that's something that I think the male leader had to, like, claw away. Like, the male leader had to fight to nail, and in fact he wasn't even able to surmount that because she just wouldn't let it, and so they had, like, a huge, like, time skip. And so a lot of this drama is, like, divided into two parts: the before and the after, right? So there's the past and the present, right? So it really was interesting in that sense, and that conflict was really there, and it added to that, like, chemistry they had, added to, like, their angst, and it was just it was chef's kiss. Like, I don't know how to explain how good this is. Just have to watch it and see, like, it's that good, right? And the Millie just did not let up. Like, the male lead would not let up. Like, it was like something else, right? And I just really liked how the female lead was also there to, like, explain to him, especially when they started dating, that, like, she was in it for life, right? And explain to him that he had to learn to share and not see her as, like, something to take care of, because, he really treasures her, and that, I think, strained their relationship to an extent, because he was willing to, like, give up anything for her, and she was like, this is not a good thing, right? And that's part of why this drama is iffy a little, because I think that he was so young and so impressionable that anything that she wanted, he would have done. He was willing to, like, change schools and, do all these things just to stay with her, even though he had options out there, right? And I think that really, like, got to the female lead, and so she really wanted their relationship to end at a point, right? And so I think that it was a good conflict that they brought in, and it was a good resolution, right? You see the male lead grow. Although I think I would have liked to see the male lead grow a little bit more. But yeah, overall, just 10 out of 10. Like, when I talk about, like, chemistry and romance, and just, like, a male lead that yearns, like, this is what I'm talking about. So yeah, you guys should check this one out, because, like, it deserves, like, watch. Like, you're gonna love it, trust me. So yeah, that is best romance for me. Da-dum. Now, to the final award of the night. To the final award of 2025. And this is the drama of the year, right? The Created an Obsession Award, right? This is the drama that I will never stop talking about. Right? This is a drama that means everything to me. This is my best overall for the year, right? This is the drama that just like altered my brain chemistry, right? That I can't really like function the way I used to before I watched this, right? This award I want to give to Tempo, Heart That Skips a Beat. I feel like a lot of you probably knew this was coming. And technically this drama like aired in 2024, but it ended in 2025, right? So I think that it qualifies for, a 2025 drama, right? This drama, Tempo, is one that I think that I will never get over. I've talked about this a few times on my podcast. Thai dramas are kind of a mixed bag for me. The ones that are good are really, really good, like Tempo, for example, and the ones that are bad are really, really bad. And most dramas just sit like in a mediocre level for me, right? I struggle a lot with like story, and that just kills the drama for me. Like I can take like bad production quality, but I can't take bad story writing. Like story writing is everything, and I recognize that that's the most difficult thing to do, right? Write a good story and like see it through to the end, right? But Tempo does something magical. Tempo does something that not a lot of dramas can do, and that is, create a story that is so engaging that it leaves me to become such a fan of the two actors. Like that is what this drama has done to me. For those who don't know, Thai dramas are not just dramas, right? They don't just end at the dramas. A lot of the times with Thai dramas, when I've talked about this like a few times on my podcast, when I first started watching like Thai dramas and just Southeast Asian dramas in general, in that like a lot of the times like dramas repeat actors, right? They repeat the same peers, right? So you never really change the person you act with, especially in, like BL. Like I don't know about like Lacons. Lacons, I think they like cycle through, but even still, even Lacons, like I would say that they still have a lot of peers. And when I talk Lacons, I mean like traditional Thai boy girl heterosexual straight drama kind of thing, right? Just like the regular kind of dramas that he make, right? BL is a little different because it comes from, I think, a different funnel, but still, right? You have this phenomenon where two people will act together and just keep acting together, right? And that is basically what Tempo produced as well, right? The two actors from this, William and S, that play Tame and Poe, right, ended up being like an actual pairing that just has kept on acting and doing things together, and just being fan servicey in general. And I have to say that I ate it up every time I am a fan service me. So like honestly I think that that's why this is this award, right? The created an obsession award, because I am literally obsessed with William and S, and I talk about them a few times in this podcast. But honestly, like I have not expected myself to become one of those people that like care about what happens after the drama. Like I watch a drama and I'm done. I don't really need to know about the behind. I don't need to know about the actors or anything. But in this case, and I mean this is what it's the Thai BL industry like sells on, pushing this thing down. So when I finished watching this drama, I just said let me do a quick Google search on these two people, just like I'm curious, right? You check their like my drama list page, stuff like that, and then you mistakenly fall on TikTok and you're just like consuming context on them all day every day, and that's kind of where I am now. And so I think that what I have learned in the year that I have been watching Thai BL, and William and Esther and things like that is just a lot. I've learned a lot about the industry. I've learned about how like it works and just things like that I never knew. And I think it's just an interesting space because it actually reminds me a little bit about like BTS and just that world of like shipping, like Taekook, Jikook, Hope Min, stuff like that, right? That I always felt was weird, right? It was always weird. But in this case, you have the actual actors in like these BLs go out and pretend that this thing is true, right? They do this make believe fan service thing, and it's just like I know it's fake. I know. Well, I should say I know it's fake because that's unfair, right? Because I don't know them personally, but like, I can tell they are putting on like a show for us, right? And it's just interesting, coming from that BTS world and seeing that, that actually is like an actual thing that like some actors decide to do, right? To like sell and to, it's fun to like, I can't imagine just flirting with people as your day job. Like I would do that for a check. I would absolutely just do that than my 9 to 5. So I think that this is my favorite drama of all time. Tempo itself was such a good drama. Seeing a story of like an idol and a photographer slash staff member, and how they kind of evolved, it's just interesting because their characters are just interesting and well written. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like the music too was really really good. Like I just really really liked this drama. Like it was that good, and I came out of that just loving Tame and Poe, right? And wanting the best for them, especially Tame. Tame was a very like touching character for me, and I had like a lot of like um mommy, not mommy feelings, but like just like you want to like put him in your pocket, like take him home and just protect him from the world kind of thing, because you could see he was going through so much, and I experienced a lot of like affection for him, right? And because you just know a lot of actors and a lot of idols go through this, especially the ones that started young, right? Idols, especially in like South Korea and everything, they start really young. Like they get them at like when they're 8, right? I know like there's this Twice member that like she started like singing and training and everything when she was like really really young. Like you can imagine all that, and trying to work towards becoming this idol, right? And becoming useful and becoming a star, but you're lonely, and you're kind of isolated, and it's an interesting world to like read about, right? And I always wonder how much of what I'm seeing is true and how much is like obviously tacked on and everything. But honestly, I feel like Tempo is even a little bit like tame in terms of like what I see in the Korean industry, like the Korean idol industry, and that world. It just seems like a lot more toxic, and that's one of the reasons why I left, not left like the BTS fandom, because I was never really part of it. I was just like an outsider looking in. But I had to get off Twitter because it was like a cesspool. Like it was just kind of odd in that way, right? And you kind of see that here too. You see moments where the fans react like rabid dogs, and it's like you're like, but you don't know these people. Like how can you like make a statement that like you will not buy whatever they have because he's dating someone, like what I mean? Like it's just odd, right? And so I think Tempo just showed me a lot more about that world, and it was just interesting in that way. But yeah, I really really liked Tempo. Like it meant so much to me when I was watching it, and it was just overall good. I love the same Mars, and find out they're an actual boy group in real life, that the actual exact members are actual real life counterparts. It's actually just fascinating, and I have to say it's only like Thai industry and that world that can create something like this. I don't know how to explain what I mean, but like it's just interesting. I think for me watching that and realizing they're an actual boy group, and this is basically an introduction to them. It's something that I feel like only Thailand can still do, because they still have this fan culture in a way that I think that South Korea has more of a manufactured one. They've gotten to the point where they're all conglomerates, right? Be it Hype, SM, JYP, right? So they don't really have the ability to do some fun things like that is cool. And I mean, Kissing Boys, for example, that's I don't know how long that will last, honestly, but that is Thailand's like one of the Thai entertainment's like biggest exports. So you might continue, but yeah, I just really really like this drama, and I think that it was just well done, and yeah, I am just like enamored by it, and I think everyone should watch this. And yeah, that's the end of my 2025 wrapped. Whew, that was a lot. it was less dramas than last year, but it was a lot more, I feel like, that I talked about in this episode. So yeah, we started a new year already. I can see some amazing dramas that I'm looking forward to. And as always, I just love talking about dramas, and I don't think I'll ever stop. So yeah, you can be sure that I'll be back again next week to talk about more dramas. So yeah, that's all I have in this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your week. Have a nice one. Bye.